Now, I'll open the meeting. September 24th, 2024, Board of Health meeting, 6 p.m. Excuse me. Roll call.
Christian Daniel Romano Ramirez, Vice Chairman.
Charles Serene.
And James Laquia, Chair. Additions or deletions not anticipated 48 hours in advance. Anybody get anything? Rick?
So just, I don't have any septic permits for review, but a couple of meetings ago, you had asked me to talk to Adam about, the Coppersmith Way development.
Yes.
So I did get a chance to do that, so I'll give you an update on that.
Okay, when do you want to do that?
We'll put it instead of the septic permits for review.
Okay, so that's gonna go down there. Okay, Coppersmith Way.
I do not have any minutes at this meeting.
Okay. All right, tobacco regulations are scheduled for the first Tuesday in October.
Yes,
Okay, so we'll do that. And you have nothing, 80 Main Street, what's that, Rick?
I have it, and I don't know if somebody was coming in. So I guess if we can push it off for a minute and see if anybody
Okay.
is showing up. And just talk about the Coppersmith Way. So I did get a chance to talk to Adam this afternoon, and
We'll look at that later.
I'm just pulling it out while I'm
the
starting.
question that the board had was, how do you handle system failures moving forward? Because it was a 40B that was approved under a comprehensive permit where they got waivers to certain Board of Health regulations. And so the answer from Adam was, if they received the waivers when the property was constructed and those regulations still exist and they need a waiver, they are still considered, granted that exemption from the regulations. So we only have to look at things that may have been adopted since that weren't included in the regulations at that time.
When these systems fail, these are Frisbees right down there or something, right?
So they were all Coltech chambers.
Cold check chambers, I know they're a different system. When the system fails, we're gonna, in the tank is still in good shape because they got 1,000-gallon tanks, we're gonna have to just let them redo the systems up to code? What's gonna happen?
So they're 1,500-gallon tanks. Some of them have singular tanks too, which is pre-treatment. And then they're all Coltech chambers. So if they're 1,500-gallon single compartment tanks, they would be able to continue to use those. They wouldn't have to meet the 2-compartment requirement that Townsend has, because they were granted a waiver when the property was constructed, back around, I think it was 2005 or so, somewhere around there. And then, any other regs like wetland offsets that were granted then, they would still get them. So the only way they would be subject to local regulations, if you guys had adopted anything since then, that was different from what the regs were at the time. So that the 2-compartment tank was in place when those systems went in. And so they were already granted a waiver for that particular one. Does that make sense?
No,
Okay, so they were granted a waiver from all your regulations.
they were granted a waiver from all of our regulations because they're 40Bs, and now they're in trouble because they went with, I'm gonna use the term state codes.
State code and the innovative alternative system. So the tanks are all so far in good shape.
Yeah,
It's the leaching areas that are having the issue. So those Coltech chambers failed on 3 properties so far. And so 2 have replaced with Frisbees. One just put in pipe and stone trenches. And
oh, would you close that door?
and they asked for a groundwater offset reduction to make it work gravity. So you guys had granted that, but moving forward, all the waivers that they had been granted initially continued to move forward with that whole neighborhood.
So all the upgrades are gonna go to Frisbees now when they all fail, and they're gonna maintain their tanks.
If that's what they choose to do, but they would still be able to only have to be 50 feet away from wetlands, which is the state requirement. They wouldn't have to meet the 100-foot offset that Townsend has. They'd have to meet the minimum state code for tank size, so 1,500-gallon single compartment. They wouldn't have to meet Townsend's requirement, and so it would go everything that they got granted a waiver for at that time in around 2005, they would still have today if they went to replace the system.
Do you think it's time that Townsend Board of Health goes back to the state code on the water offset from 50 feet instead of 100?
I mean, I think that the 100 feet's pretty standard, at least across the Neshoba district at this point.
Mhm.
So when we had talked about this years ago.
Yeah, I'm refreshing myself and you
And
right now.
I think that the thought process was, we can only grant variances it would open up potentially some properties for new construction, which you don't typically grant variances for. But everything else that would be less than 100 feet would be upgrades. And so you said, we can consider those on a case by case basis and grant variances down from the 100 feet if we feel like the situation calls for it. But the 100 feet seems like a good protection, especially where you guys do have a lot of groundwater aquifers in town. The majority of town's a groundwater aquifer, and you've got the Squanicook that comes right through. I would say maintain 100 feet, and if somebody needs a relief from that, you can deal with that on a case by case basis.
Okay, either one of you got any questions about that?
I have a question regarding that. If we're gonna see a case by case, how will we, could we write that down, somewhere here that we're gonna review it?
That's Rick's job to take care of all that stuff.
So you guys have all your regulations, and at the end, there's a variance procedure. So everybody is, even new construction, which isn't typically granted a variance, everybody has the opportunity to ask for it. And so they would, formally submit a request for the variance, and then come in front of you guys, they present their case, and then you guys would make a decision. And so, any variance is kind of a case by case decision, and there's already a process outlined in the regs to do that.
Okay.
Any other questions, Paul?
No,
No?
I understood.
Anything else you want to share with us before we go on to the next one, Rick?
That was it for that one.
Okay. And let's go to. Set up on my Waco background. 80 Main Street, this is it?
So this is the plan. So it's kind of, and I thought somebody would be here. So, Dilson Roy are the ones that originally designed the system for this property. This is that church that they're rehabbing right now. You're going to the Harbor Mall on the right.
Yeah.
And so, it was a plan that was originally approved. So this is Main Street right here. This is the church. They were putting on a small addition in the back, I think mostly for handicap access. And then the system was gonna go over here, which was, so you got the river basically right here. And they were asking for an offset off of that of 77 feet. And then the other part of it too was, there was a lot of people that were concerned about the system being in that location and basically taking away potential parking spots. And how would the property really be used if there wasn't adequate parking for the building capacity? And so, Gary Shepherd, who's kind of I guess the general contractor here, he, owns the property across the street, which is this Harbor Lane, and it's the big old Amazon fields that are out here. So he said, I'm willing to grant the town an easement to put the system across the street, and we can try to get approval from Mass DOT to drill under 119 to run a force main and put something out in this area. And then that would open up all that space that was originally for the system for potential parking. And so he had gone to Mass DOT to try to get their approval before he came to you, and they said, we don't want to go any farther until we know that the town is at least open to granting a variance to allow you to put the system across the street. And so this isn't a formal hearing. They didn't request a formal hearing. They just put together this conceptual plan with the two biggest variances that they would be looking for, which would be to site the system on a property other than that which it's serving. And so he's not looking for a formal decision of the board tonight, but he is asking for basically an opinion or kind of this is something that we would be willing to entertain. I think that there's some benefit to it. You get away from the river, which is obviously an important resource in town. And then you do open up that parking.
I have a question. Going that pump through that property, is there gonna be any issue underground for us? For example, any breakage or something like that, or?
So if it did, there'll be a legal easement if they were to move forward with this. So they would draw up a plan with gas lines, which would indicate the easement area. And then there'd be language that goes along with that, which would allow them to enter the property for the purposes of, maintaining the system or the area above the system.
And you're gonna have enough pitch?
So this will all be pumped, yeah, so it'll just go gravity into the septic tank, and they had a grease trap on it, and then everything else would just get pumped from the, basically this parking area all the way up to here.
What's the daily flow on this, Rick?
It was 80 seats at 6 gallons per day per seat, which is the church with a kitchen floor.
And how often is the church gonna be used?
It doesn't sound like way too often. It's not gonna be a church anymore, but it will be kind of used similarly to a church. So it sounds like it's gonna get rented out to groups that might want to have like a party or a celebration in there. And they'll have what they're calling a caterer's kitchen. So nobody will be able to cook in there, but they'll have spaces to be able to refrigerate and heat up.
So there's gonna be no cooking involved, it's just gonna be actual bathrooms and wastewater from the sink per se?
Yep.
And you said 60 gallons a day?
Total of 480 gallons per day.
480 gallons per day, and it's gonna get used once a week.
What about the sealed tank that they just pump when needed?
Tight tank. So that's what they had approved for, the fire station that they're doing across the street, because there wasn't any area to put a system. But tight tanks are really only supposed to be used in situations where it's infeasible to fit a system on a property. And in this case, it takes away from parking, which, as far as it's kind of like the grand scheme of things, protection of public health would be more important than finding parking spots.
Okay.
The way I see this, that is actually going behind the abutters property, where that system is proposed right now.
Yeah, so they own this L right here. So this is on their property. This person's property goes kind of like that.
All right. That's an existing access road, where's the actual parking for the church?
It's right here, pretty much. They've got some spaces here, and then they've got this gravel parking area here. I think, until they built the rail trail out and made some parking areas, a lot of people would use that for the rail trail or to put a kayak in into the river, because they do have a boat launch right there. And that was kind of the same thought process was, we're not gonna have much left for people, especially if we get up to that 80 people, then we're gonna really be scrambling to find parking spots for all of them.
Now, wouldn't there be some areas available over the system where they could park cars if they needed to?
Not with that one, so it's a geomat system.
It's a geomat system,
You
okay,
can't-
sorry about
can't-
that,
No vehicle traffic on it.
What do they call the system where it's pipe and gravel?
Pipe and stone they could do would be H20 rated. It just, they were able to do this and not need retaining walls if they did any other kind of system, because this is only the 1-inch profile system.
All right.
Everything else is at least a foot, and they can go up to like.
Because the groundwater
2+
table
feet
was
thick.
right there from the river, right?
Yeah, it was, it wasn't awful. So the test was over here, 3 feet, and I believe they got a 1 foot reduction. Yep, they got a 1 foot reduction too. So the bottom of the system is basically 1 foot above existing grade. But they wanted to use this system because, if you got into something like a Presby or a pipe and stone, you'd be talking about retaining walls, which would significantly affect the cost of the system.
All right. Under that circumstance, they wouldn't lose parking though.
They wouldn't lose parking on it, yeah.
I've never heard of drilling under a state road.
No, it's been done. I
Yeah,
don't
they've
think
done
it's
it a
ever been
few
done in
times
town
in town. For not for a system, but they've done it for other stuff.
for water or something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
That is why was my concern on going under the state road, because if, God forbid, something happens, like, I don't know if there's gas lines that goes by
Yeah,
doing the road and things like that, and all of a sudden something happens and the water pipe that is going from here to this side, which would, will make a break or something, and it's more, the
Sure.
city will be more accountable for that.
So, you know, they'd have to get approvals from Mass DOT and I'm sure Mass DOT would condition it and then they make sure that, you know, they know where all their utilities are in the street. But one of the things that, you know, if you were gonna entertain it, that I would ask for as part of my review is to, put a sleeve under the road. And so you know, if something happened, then you could pull the whole pipe out from the sleeve and replace it without having to go through drilling or opening up the road again.
Okay, my recommendation at this point, is because of the minimal usage of this and the fact that there's no cooking allowed, it's just gonna be for doing dishes and what's it, 2 or 3 toilets in the building, are they gonna be?
I think there's two, yeah,
Two
two
toilets.
bathrooms, yeah.
My best bang for the buck would be to carry on with this and to grant the variance from the river because of the minimal usage. You'll avoid going under the road and over there and astronomical expense also.
But you can't park over that type of system, right? You can't park cars over.
Well, not on this
Not
one
on that
now,
one, no.
no. So this is just for a review tonight anyway, so,
Yeah, so then, you know, again, they didn't formally ask for a variance. It was more, you know, is this something that the board would be willing to entertain? And if you are, then we keep on going down that road and then eventually come in for a formal variance hearing.
yeah.
And if not, then, you know, we won't continue to pursue it.
Do we need a motion on this or what do you want?
Nope, because they're not making a formal
Okay, there's
request.
no formal thing, so it's just our opinion, so it's my opinion that we, say go with this system here and give them the variance from the river and make it a little bit, or a lot easier than having to go under the road and putting us people across the street.
And that was totally out with the sealed tank? Was that? what
Yeah,
Salt-
tight
that's
tank
how-
wouldn't be allowed on this property, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would, my personal opinion, I think trying to accommodate more cars even now doing the project of putting that other side on the other side of the road, I mean, that is if they wanna make the property, more convenient for more people to come and do more activities, but that's something on them, so. Yeah.
So are you saying you're willing to agree with this one, or you wanna go with the one across the street?
Well, it depends what they propose, but I
Well,
mean.
it's already proposed, it'd be a leach field on the other side.
I would go with this one, with the leach field on the other side of the road.
You would,
Yeah.
okay. So right now, it's, I think you're in favor of this one or the other one, Paul?
I get the property works better if they have more parking,
Mhm.
they'll be able to rent it and utilize it better. So I feel for them, so I don't have a problem with this if they're willing to eat the cost. That's gonna be expensive and I have a pretty good chance the state's gonna not allow it. but-
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Gary.
Well, right
does-
now, it's 2-1, go across the street.
So, yeah, you know, let them know and then they can kind of, you know, proceed at their, you know, their own,
Yeah,
whatever, yeah, so, okay.
it's a better gig all day long. I think about the cost of all this stuff, and we're just gonna take the bore under the road, sleeve it the whole 9 yards, but
I'm assuming they probably know, you know, what that's gonna cost and.
I'm sure that they do,
They
yes.
wouldn't have come to you if they.
And they
weren't,
come
right,
to
so-
us because they wanna taste the water to see.
Yeah, well, that's what it's all about, so, it's 2-1 right now, so I guess we're gonna have to go under the road.
Okay, well, I'll let them know and then, you know, at some point, you guys will.
Then they got more area to utilize here, they can have bigger parties, and they're gonna have a better facility across the street than they held them at.
Sure. Okay, all right, well, I'll let them know that then.
All right? Good.
Thank you.
This one, we get back there.
It was. Do you have anything else, Rick?
Don't think so.
Okay, I will see you Thursday.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right, have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, thank you, Rick.
Okay, so we have some invoices to sign. There is Carlos Travel, the business cards, yes, here they are.
Grab a few. Have them with you for your business associate.
So there's my travel for September, which is equaling out to be between $50 and $60 a month.
Mhm.
We had talked about how the camera, I had to do the yearly plan for the camera, which was $120. But then I had to do another yearly plan because I have 2 cameras. So here's for the second one. And then there was another cost there that I just wanted to tell you at the same time. Then we needed the batteries for the cameras, which was $113. Apple Meadow had them. It was wonderful that I was able to go down there and pick them up because now everything is working. So we have spent some money on those cameras, but they're working tremendous. They really are.
Do they come back to
So-
your phone?
Yes, 2 cameras.
Really?
And it goes up, every morning at 2:33 in the morning, it goes up.
What is going on at 2:33?
Well, I will show you the picture of the huge bobcat
Oh.
that was there. I will show you that to you in a moment. I don't want to hold up this. Needles, we needed to, buy more containers because people need to dispose of them, so they get a new container from me. So I buy them myself and, they were delivered. They went up to about $3, I think, and 29 cents. We still charge $5. So I'm hoping that we're still able to, charge $5 and not have to raise that because that's a good service to the towns and residents. The recycling center last Saturday, drowned rats. The poor employees.
Oh, you poured last Saturday.
Oh, I said, we need to get you guys some raincoats. So we have, they have T-shirts and they have sweatshirts with hoods. It says, it has a Townsend logo on it. Then it says recycling center, it has their first and last name. So I propose that we buy 4 rain jackets for them. They're only $75. I don't think that's bad with the print. And I think it's very important that the people see their names. So when they come out, they say,
75 each or?
yes, 75
Okay.
each. Yes, and that's with the printing too.
Okay.
So,
And it's great job, Skirty, because we don't want to have to buy another one. I'm joking. The name's on it.
so hopefully they'll be sticking around a while, so we won't have to worry about that. The grant that we have, through the recycling center, I've been spending a lot of money on, toner for the flyers that we printed out for the Pay As You Throw program. So I want to make sure that, the town doesn't pay for that and the grant money does. Shaw's was, at the recycling center to dump and return our bulky. That was $440. If we had our $6,000 credit, you wouldn't be seeing this, but we don't. So there you have it.
That's gone, huh?
It is gone. So
And we had no say in that.
we do not.
I don't know if we have another moment for discussion about that. I just wanted
Sure.
to, when the chairman, allows the moment to talk about that. I was thinking, I don't know if, regarding this situation and now that the select board is in crisis, we have to put it that way. They're currently in crisis. I don't know if it is prudent to continue on moving forward with this pay as you throw campaign and especially that we are in the air and we don't and I don't know if the board has the power to propose to whoever is on the select board to stop this campaign and leave it if they want to reconsider it at another moment or another time or.
I believe that's too late. We've got 2 select people that are gone. Mr. Shank is all done Friday. We only got Teresa left until the election. So we really can't do anything about it, neither can they.
And they can't do anything until November to have an election to get more, to get a full selectman board.
Yeah. And that's gonna be a scary thing too. Let's not discuss that right now. Anyhow, we're on hold because of the fact there is no board upstairs to make any decisions. So, and what are they gonna do, the same day as the regular elections? You don't know yet? Haven't asked Kathy? No?
Kathy is out of her mind right now. She is so busy worrying about all of this and trying to get the people who are pulling papers, and then there's the presidential election, and then there's the town election, so they're very, very busy.
Unbelievable what's happening in this town.
Because, I mean, again, I'm new in this position and we have to say that this was taken away from the Board of Health and being here and seeing all that is going on, I mean, it's my personal opinion that that the town shouldn't continue on with this program, especially that quick and right now what I'm hearing is that people are wandering, going to the supermarkets and trying to buy as much as they can.
It is an absolute mess. It's disgusting.
It was, there was a working committee. From what I understand, the selectmen have the right to initiate fees for trash. And that's what they decided to do. And town council came back and said, well, we understand that the Board of Health manages the contract. This is the way that the selectmen have chose to go. And there was no recourse for the Board of Health.
They made all the mistakes over the past, I'm gonna use the number 7 years and put us into this $550,000 deficit. And now they're using the Board of Health and the trash as scapegoats to try to recover that money. And I don't believe it's gonna work. So.
Yeah. Do we have anyone else supporting selling the bags? I mean, Apple Meadow's not going to.
No, absolutely
Apple
not.
Meadow will not. Walgreens is signing up.
Walgreens?
I believe there's a problem with Mr. Mike's. I think it's just because of the corporate. I think they'll come along. Hannaford's in Lunenburg is selling them already.
Okay,
McNabb sells them, and Towns in Hannaford sells them, and I do as well.
Lunenburg.
Lunenburg is signed up,
Okay, interesting.
and because they already had a corporate account with the towns, and it was very easy just to ship them over.
Now it's cash only though, right? You can't put them on your debit or credit card.
I don't know about the grocery stores. I know that, we don't have debit card ability here, so it's cash or check in the town hall. And I believe McNabb's is cash only as well.
Okay, all right.
And before, I don't wanna be going back and forth, I know that we talk about the recycling center, was the fencing and all of that finished already, or?
Yes.
No,
yes,
enough of
I will
this
show you,
next
I'll
year.
show you pictures. I'll show you a picture of it. It came out really nice. It's very nice.
That's pretty good, and we haven't approved the payment, right?
Yeah, you weren't here for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
when you missed the meeting, you missed all the fun.
And I actually got the statement from Patriot, thank you for your payment, so it's already been paid for and everything,
Yeah,
it's
all
great,
done.
and it was paid for with capital funds, so it didn't have to come out of
The
the.
world
general
doesn't stop
fund.
spinning when somebody's absent. It keeps
No,
going around in a
no,
circle.
I understand that, that's for sure, but I'm glad that turned out and I feel bad for the people here in Townsend because, I mean, people are running around and this is just, I don't think that people deserves having more chaos because I think that people at home with their own situations, their families, I mean, I'm a father, I'm a head of the household at a family household and thinking about the situation with the trash, I mean, it's having that on other families, it's just, people don't deserve that, but it is what it is and we just have to deal with it, so.
And it's going in on October 1st.
October 1st,
Okay.
October 1st, the flyers have already gone out, did you get your flyer?
I
in there?
did, God.
Yes. So, yes, it's proceeding, the extra bags that I have in the town hall, I only have probably 1.5 cases. It's 250 in a case, so I think by the time, shortly after October 1st, I will be out of the old bags. I did stress to the town administrator that I think it's important that I also have a case in the office just because it seems that McNabb's and Hannaford's are a little unreliable right now until they get into the groove of knowing how many they have. I have a lot of people that come in and say, I'm looking for these bags. Do you have them? Where are they? And it's nice to be able to tell the residents, yes, I do have them. So And I don't have a problem doing that. It's not a big deal. I'm used to it. I think a lot of people are used to doing it when they come in and they pay their taxes or their excise bill, they pick up their bags, so.
And I have another question. Is there gonna be a period where the people will get a say about, hey, this is working, or hey, this is not working, or hey, it needs.
Town meeting.
Town meeting, and I'm sure that's gonna happen. I'm sure it's gonna happen because I'll be the first one to bring it up.
The contract is only for 1 year right now, so you're gonna have to start, and you as the Board of Health, responsible for the trash contract, so you can start talking to Glenn at any time and say, what are we gonna do next year? This is what the selectmen have proposed to do this year, but what do you wanna do going forward next year? You don't know what the outcome is for the revenue until you get closer to it. You're already, you have 9 months.
Yeah.
So, and your highest revenue is gonna be the first month, because everyone is gonna scramble to grab the bag. So
Yeah,
the
and
first
then
the first
it's gonna
month of
diminish.
revenue that you see is gonna be, oh my gosh, look at this, and then it's gonna keep going down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
So,
And regarding that, with the respect of Mr. Chairman, I don't know if we are able to, once the chaos of the select board ends, to have whoever is on that board to have a meeting to.
We have to let that happen first before we can really
Okay.
put that into effect, because we don't know who's gonna get elected.
Mhm.
So until we have 2 new elected officials, we don't know who's gonna be there, and at that point in time, yes, it would be appropriate for the Board of Health and the Select Board to get together
absolutely.
and to discuss all
Absolutely.
the stuff and where it's gonna go in the future.
Okay.
We can't sit stagnant because we just got everything thrown in our face because it wasn't put in our lap. So once these new people are elected, then we can make forward motion once again to find out where it's gonna go.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right,
So some more invoices here,
I
Carol?
do AT&T, my cell phone from the town.
From the town, and we have to pay for it?
Yes, we do.
The town supplied the phone and we gotta pay for it.
Mhm.
Welcome to Townsend.
And Sean Pearson, needed his hoister license renewed. He is our foreman at the recycling center. So it's $153 and he does need it for his job description, so.
Yeah, that's gotta be done.
So, and that's all I have. I think that we had a good discussion about the recycling center update and the pay-as-you program. Your next meeting is scheduled for the 8th of October, at what point you will have the tobacco regulations. And I believe there's a couple of septic permits on there as well. So that will probably be a little bit longer than our super fast 45-minute meetings. That is wonderful. I'm gonna be out tomorrow as well, by the way. Going to see my parents.
Good to go. I gotta find my calendar. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so October 8th is the next one?
Yep, 8th and the 22nd are our meetings in October.
I already have it programmed.
Are you comfortable with 6 o'clock meetings, guys, or do you wanna change the time?
No, 6 is
6
fine.
is fine for me
Does that
too.
work for you?
Sure.
Yeah.
You all set with that, Carla?
The 8th and
The
the
22nd, yeah. We get 14. Booked. I'm traveling.
Okay, both of those are all set here. That's as far as we go at this meeting until we get to the 22nd, we'll figure out November.
The 8th. Till we get to the 8th.
Yeah, the service could be in November. I just saw that. Okay, we're all set with everything? How about a motion to adjourn?
I propose a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here's a vote.